Llamas
Kamala.
in top cut. Isn't it sad?
Kalama? Yeah, no Kalamas.
Nope, zero, nada.
All right. Well,
Ooh, looks like the game's almost started.
there we go.
All right, so it is our favorite friend Eric is back on
Yeah,
the
I mean,
Jinx.
he's making a deep cut, so hopefully he continues to find success here. And, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So we got the Reavers versus the Zon. I mean, I am a little bit more convinced on the Jinx deck. I think before this event, I was very much, wow, it's just worse Miracle Draven. But it does do some things differently, which is cool.
Yeah, I think one thing that I really enjoy from it is the Super Mega Death Rocket. I think
Yeah.
it's proven to be quite the handy tool. Being able to deal 5 to a unit anywhere is really difficult to deal with. I mean, Draven also struggles with it. I mean, I think the Miracle List doesn't struggle nearly as much just because it vomits, 6 units in a turn. And killing 1 unit for 4 runes is really not that impactful at that point. But yeah, I mean, he's just going to go ahead and start off with the stacked deck. Go ahead and find himself a card that he wants over these next couple of turns and continue on his merry way. We'll have to assume that he's just going to pass the turn unless he has himself another stacked deck to play. So.
I think I see another stack deck, though, opting to hold it. Maybe he's got to play for next turn lined up already. He's like, I don't need to use this quite yet.
It might be Noxus Opal. And so Andrew here going to be developing a Treasure Hunter. I think one of the big winners of set 2. Really just one of the best 2-drops in the game right now. But it does also lead me to believe that this is a mid-range style Draven list rather than that Miracle Draven.
Yep, Treasure Hunter. Initially, I thought it was the best 2-drop in the game, but the problem with it being the best 2-drop in the game is Draven is the best deck, and pushing up 1 might units onto battlefields is not really something you want to do.
True.
And if you're going to move him, well, he's going onto a battlefield generally. So, unfortunately, held back a little bit by that, but still a very powerful card.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he will be able to potentially just go onto this Reaver's Row, and then, that treasure or traveling merchant will also, be able to go onto that Reaver's Row, trigger the discard, but it will allow Andrew to trade no cards because Eric Liu is not playing Draven.
This is true.
For another gold token. So, I mean, that kind of feels pretty safe for me if I am Andrew here. I think he's just going and mulling over all his available options. I do see a Rebuke in his hand, so that is something that he could be considering. And then also could be on something like Ride the Wind that I do know a lot of mid-range lists are on. So I'm not really sure what he's considering here. It feels like the Reaver's Row is a pretty clear-cut decision overall. Could be opting to try and go for the Zon Warrens and maybe Tide Turner, shift back.
See, this is what I was complaining about, though, with untimed top cut. Like, it's the second turn of the game, third turn of the game, and that was like 3 minutes to push up Treasure Hunter. Like, I think that it is important to be able to make the correct play, and it is cool to give the players the time to do that. But at the same time, one of the big skills of the game is playing at a reasonable pace, right? Is being able to make these decisions within a certain amount of time. So anyways, does opt to play out the Treasure Hunter, get a couple gold tokens, and now play out the Tide Turner, move the Treasure Hunter, and does get a lot of gold tokens, and that should be readied, as it is Ride the Wind. Yep, there we go. So can I get 4 gold tokens? It is insane off of 1 Treasure Hunter.
And he doesn't want to bring it back?
Well, I don't think he's passing over yet. Yeah. We haven't resolved the combat yet, so.
Okay. All right. There we go.
There we go. So another one. Well,
Yep.
Will not be paying power for probably the rest of the game.
He is a rich, rich man.
Yes. All that gold, you'd think he's Smog.
Lord of the Rings reference for all of those who don't know. And it looks like he actually picked himself up a second Draven Vanquisher, so a little bit shocked to see him running any of those in the main deck.
Wow.
Not very often that you will see that in the main deck of these Draven mid-range lists, so Yeah, we'll have to see what Eric decides to do with this turn here. Can't quite see what he has. I do see a Rebuke and a couple other cards, so it looks like he's just going to go ahead and trigger the Traveling Merchant with that Reaver's Row, and then the Reaver's Row is just going to go ahead and protect that Tide Turner. And so now, Eric Liu.
Yep, just pulls right back, nice and safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eric playing pretty fast. I guess he had plenty of time to plan his turn out. So there comes the card you were talking about before.
That's Super Mega Death Rocket taking out that Treasure Hunter. No more gold going to be utilized.
Yet. Could play more. So yeah, obviously Andrew has to read the card. Not exactly a super common card to see. What is cool with the Rocket is that you can use it a bunch of times. I'm sure you guys were able to see it plenty of times in Eric's previous features, but you can use this card up to 3 times in one turn.
Yes, but you'd have to have it in your hand.
Yeah, absolutely.
To start, because he's 1, then discard, then 1, then discard, then 1, then discard.
I wonder how many plays.
So Kai'Sa going to be the card that comes down here. And yeah, Eric just going to go ahead and trigger that discard. I think he doesn't really need this Rebuke. And yep, they're just going to go ahead and get rid of it. I think he drew a Nocturne. No, it's a Rasa. But this Traveling Merchant is going to be able to just move around the whole set of turns here. And, well, I mean, Andrew was able to draw 2 from this Kai'Sa, which is very convenient. But that does give Eric the opportunity to kind of clap back here, if you will. He does have the Vi, and then Eric does only have 1 rune available because of this, which means that he's just going to get rid of this hard bargain. Doesn't really want to utilize it right now. And yeah, Eric just putting his hand down, making sure that his cards are visible, that his opponent is aware of those cards, and Andrew's just going to go ahead and take the time to make any final decisions before passing the turn.
Yep, and I mean, big turn from Draven, getting a lot of draws there. Yeah, I know. So Ronald Sunkissed 9633 is my biggest fan, apparently. So thank you, Ronald Sunkissed.
Yeah.
Appreciated. You know, my knowledge on llamas is quite...
What's your knowledge on Kalamas?
I think you know more about me, about the Kalamas. I only know about the llamas.
They're calamitous.
Someday... And
you know who else has a big fan?
Yeah?
Draven.
It's true.
He has the biggest fan.
Yeah, he has the... Is it literally his greatest
Draven's
fan?
biggest fan, yeah. That's the overzealous fan?
Oh, overzealous fan. Does he? Does he have
they
that
renamed it. They renamed it.
Does he have that in like the?
It's Legends of Runeterra. It's literally the same art. That's Draven's biggest fan.
I forgot that they did that. That they just like stole. Actually, this came up because I do paint over cards, right? I do painting over on Twitter.
You alt arts.
Yeah, and I had someone make a snide comment to one of my. You know how Twitter goes, right? People make silly comments, and they were upset that I didn't know that the card had a full like expanded art from Runeterra, and they're like, "That's not how the card goes." And I was like, "Oh." So I got flamed on Twitter because I did not match. Apparently, the dude's hair was different, and I drew him bold or something.
Well, how dare you not know everything?
I know, right? I mean, this is how things go. All right,
Ronald. Now you have to take it back. He doesn't know everything.
Yeah, but I know about the llamas, so you know we got that. All right, so Eric going up to 5 here. Andrew developing in the back. I mean, there's quite a few. Oh,
he's like, whoa, whoops,
wait.
whoops.
Yeah. So making sure we want to distinguish the battlefields in the base here, and there's the Death Rocket. See, this Death Rockets are crazy.
Yeah, this Death Rocket has been putting in a ton of work. I don't know how he tapped. Okay, there it is. He's fixing that.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
1, 2, 3, 4. Did he recycle one? Oh no. Yeah, shouldn't there be one more?
There should be one more. I think he miscounted his runes, but. There's supposed to be a judge there to make sure that doesn't happen, but it did. So we're just gonna complain.
Okay.
Like Twitter.
Or maybe we missed one. It's possible.
No, we're complaining like Twitter.
Oh, okay. I do like complaining like Twitter. That is like one of my best features.
One of my best features.
Yes. You didn't know that? You
I
did?
didn't. You know, the
Well,
more you know.
I'm complaining that you didn't realize that. So
Oh, you know what? There you go. Yeah, you're proving your point well.
I'm really disappointed by the lack of llamas, though. Like, come on. They're so. So I guess the Lucian, unfortunately, probably lost in the last round or either bubbled out. Unfortunate. I am curious to see if we will see any of the Detonate Dravens. So that is the kind of third build. So there's the Miracle, the mid-range, and then the Detonate build that popped off a little bit in Vegas. I haven't seen any walking around, but, I mean, could still be out there.
Yeah, could be. Could
Man.
not be.
Also, yeah, you're right. You know, you could be very sad and be the one volley bear and match up into a Detonate Draven.
Yeah, and then you lose into the top 8, or lose your opportunity for the top 8.
Well, he did lose, but it was a valiant effort. I did actually get to watch the end of that game, the volley bear game, and he was one might off, and he actually had the win. It was game 3.
He might have gotten it.
Round of applause for Sasuke, everyone. But all right. Anyways, back to the match. Eric building a giant army in base.
That was unbelievable. All right, I've derailed this conversation a little bit too much, but yes, Eric. Eric is just counting all his cards, making sure that. Oh, I think he's being informed that he forgot to exhaust one or something.
I mean, with only one rune up, it really shouldn't make a difference because the only thing you're playing with one anyways is like a stack deck, so wouldn't really make a difference here if he did end up exhausting the one extra rune. Is on odd points, which is a little bit unfortunate. And you don't really want to be on the odd points here. It does mean that despite Andrew being at 4, he is a turn ahead, because he will go up to 6 on the next turn. And I can only assume he does double conquer. Like, it seems pretty impossible that Eric has any way to defend.
The fact that this Vi is getting stripped away is definitely a little bit punishing.
Well, he played a stack deck, didn't he? Or did he just
played the seal last turn, and then he played a stack deck this turn.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the stack deck wasn't actually played and it was discarded off of something. That would be my only guess. I don't know.
All right, we're complaining. I told you, Cruz, we're complaining like Twitter. Don't fix it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Just let us be the.
Let us be Twitter idiots. All right.
Yeah, this is the. I am the world's biggest complainer, and you will not take that away from me, or I will complain. So stack deck coming out. I see. I see a Forerunner in the main deck. I mean, it's going to be a pretty solid card. One of the advantages of the Jinx version of this deck is that it does actually have removal with the rockets, and the Forerunner is going to say, I don't care.
Yeah, the Forerunner is really good because, I mean, it is out of range of that rocket, but also into this Jinx deck where it is kind of very heavy on its removal style. Just being able to have a unit that sticks around for a turn or two, even if you do remove it, you get those 2 mech tokens back. It can enable a lot of different opportunities. So going to go ahead and very likely pick up that Flare's Forerunner, and there it is. So we'll have to see if he decides to put it onto the battlefield with the Tide Turner, just to make things a little bit awkward for Eric, force him to kind of almost overcommit, if you will, to try and take this battlefield back. And it looks like that is going to be the case. Going to use his final gold token that he used from that treasure hunter. I mean, this is just absolutely insane here. He's able to get so much value and is going to go ahead and hide a card as well. And now Eric has to fight through not only this Ferris Forerunner, but has to find a way to stave off the aggression on that following turn as well.
Yeah, it is going to be pretty rough here. You have to not only clear out the units, but deal with that hidden, and then make sure that you do not die on that following turn. Because how many cards? Is that only 2 cards in hand for Andrew? That is like something, a bright side, right? Like he doesn't have a ton of stuff to work with. Only 1 rune up, which does mean that there probably isn't any interaction happening here besides that hidden. Do have to keep in mind that if you do swing onto the Reavers, I mean, the Reavers is going to most likely save the hopeful.
Yeah. And so Eric really just kind of mulling over all his decisions, just going to go ahead and send and offer that trade for the hopeful. We'll have to see if Andrew decides to take the trade or not, or if he just wants to protect his hopeful for that following turn. Yeah, I mean, right now, Eric really doesn't have a great way to overtake this Zon Warrens. So he just wants to try and get this conquer off, kind of bully Andrew into not taking this trade, because even if he does take the trade, very likely will see this traveling merchant go onto that Reaver's Row, trigger the move, find himself something a little bit more useful to do with his turn, and then find a way to deal with this Ferris Forerunner.
Yeah, and Andrew in the tank thinking about this one. It's not actually one of one Jinx. It is a one of three Jinx, right?
No, I
Four.
don't know if that is the metal Jinx.
Is it?
I don't think so.
It looks different.
It does look different. It is a promo.
Oh, no, it's not, right? Because they use the original art.
Yeah, they use the original.
So I don't know what that is. It looks cool, though.
It does look cool.
All right. Stack. Wait. Called shot. Called shot. I lost it there
Called
for a
shot
second.
repeated here. Things are getting a little bit dark just because the lighting is a little bit weird from where they're at. That is, in fact, the best of Jinx.
Okay.
But metal, not best of. It's best of. I don't think so, chat. That's not the original art for the Jinx, and they used the original art for the best ofs, so that doesn't make sense to me. It is a promo, though. I don't know what promo that is from.
Wait, that is the original art of Jinx.
Head judge here?
No. Is that? I don't know. It looks cool.
That's
we
the
go.
original
That
Jinx.
is the original art. I couldn't tell with the. Okay. You know
Oh.
what? Oh, I deck checked him. Okay. We got
I
to.
promise you it's the best of. I deck check him. Well, okay. That's quite the flex. I don't know that I'd feel comfortable carrying that amount of value. All right.
It's like when you see the people with the slabs as their leaders. I don't think I could do that. Like, imagine you have like a black label.
I mean, he's just walking around with like 35K right there.
Yeah. I mean, we are well aware Eric is the Jinx master. There's a reason he is third seed here. He does like to terrorize the Austin locals quite a bit.
All right. So just going to fully stack onto this field here. He is going to be at 6 points. Make it fairly difficult to try and overtake this battlefield.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, you kind of want to just avoid that hidden plus the Forerunner and get yourself on the 6 and then potentially try and find the game on the next turn. Because going up to the odd points doesn't actually really help that much here. I will say what is a little bit scary is if that is a fight or flight that does represent more might than actually is there, right? Because you can go like fight or flight back like a Forerunner and then push that up. So there's more might represented than it actually looks like. That does mean that has to be a fight or flight, though. It could be, since this is mid-range Draven, there are like switcheroo. Most people are off of it, but there's like Edge of Night. There are a few other options.
Yep. And so now Eric is just going to try and hold this Reaver's Row for now. Make it so that Andrew cannot get that 8th point very easily. He does basically have, he has access to 11 runes right there.
Yeah. Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? Yeah, you're right. Right? Yeah, because he's got the one Dark Vader.
Well, we don't know if there's another Darth Vader under there. So hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
No,
8,
there's
9, 10. It looks like there's
there's
two.
the red rune in the middle has another one right under
Oh,
it.
yeah, you're right. Okay.
All right, so a lot to work with here. I don't think his hand is very big, though.
Right. I think he's only got 3 cards right now. And one of those cards is a Rebuke, but that's not going to be doing too much right now. So just going to go ahead and try and bolster his own battlefield and make it so that Eric cannot overtake it in response. And yeah, Andrew just doing what he can to try and maintain his control over his own battlefield, because right now he is winning the race. And so Eric is going to have to figure out how does he deal with.
Yeah, how do you deal with this? So the Jinx champion unit does have a pseudo accelerate. You discard, she does ready herself. So there is potentially at least one unit with accelerate coming out, plus all obviously the ganking nocturnes. You can go bushwhack. I don't believe the bushwhack has been gone through, so bushwhack plus
He did
Rams and
discard his own bushwhack, so I don't know if he discarded his only bushwhack or if he's
Okay.
running two.
okay. All right, let's see what Eric has up his sleeve. Obviously, again, the Nocturnes, the Hopeful, potentially an accelerated Jinx. I think I see a Rebuke.
Oh,
Yep, there's
so
one.
he is running a second bushwhack.
All right. So that's where one of the things where open deck list matters a lot.
Yep.
You can see exactly how many of these cards that your opponent is playing. So now trying to dig for a bunch of Nocturnes, a bunch of Rasas, Battering Rams, all these cards that are coming out for cheap. Is that an? It's not a Nocturne.
Looks like a Nocturne.
If it was, you just play it, right? Like there's no thought.
That's fair. Yeah, 100% not a Nocturne.
That would be quite a nice hit if it was. But, all right, so Merchant, so really digging here. I wonder what he's looking for.
Just mostly his efficient units. Has a seal in hand. It looks like there is a Rasa. So might just be trying to utilize this Rasa this turn because it really is just his only opportunity for now. I do see a Rebuke.
Is that another called shot? Looks like 0.
Yep, it is. Oh, no, it's the Rebuke going to come out. I think it has to be the Ferris Forerunner.
No, it's the Darius, right?
Oh, okay.
Darius can go to 7. Forerunner's only 6.
Fair enough.
And at this point, it doesn't matter that it's floating because the game is either over or it's not, unless they have an exact trade, which is pretty unlikely.
Yep, and Eric does also have to figure out how he's supposed to get around that fight or flight, right? He doesn't quite have enough gas in the tank to take it over right now. And yeah, it's kind of a pretty difficult position to be in. We do see the double called shot, so it looks like he is going to recycle those two as well. I mean, this is the final turn of the game, so just utilizing whatever resources you have available, I think, does make perfect sense. Yep, just going to go for the double called shot. Hope that he finds a Nocturne.
Well, you can't because you've used all your purples or Rasa.
No, Nocturne is any color.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, you are a smart man.
Yeah.
You can't use Rasas, though.
Cannot use Rasas anymore. Yep.
You're a smart man. You know what? Let's pull this up.
So that battering ram is going to get used.
How many spells? We've played a lot, right?
He's played the seal plus bushwhack plus
2 called shots.
called shots.
So, yeah. Yes, you are absolutely right. It is 1 power of your choice.
So 18 might here, up to against 14 might, and he will be able to tie it. No, and in fact, actually beat it. So now that's 13 might to 14 might. And I think Eric is just doing the math here to make sure that he cannot beat it.
Yep, Andrew making absolutely sure there's not something he's missing here.
Yeah.
I mean, still 4 runes up as well and 2 cards in hand. Well, we know one's a Darius, so 1 unknown. Eric is at, what, 4 runes? Or did he use both the floating?
He used both the floating to develop both those battering rams.
Okay.
And there comes a rebuke. And I think with that, that seals the deal here in game number 1. And yeah. So now,
Yep.
just going to reveal that there was no fight or flight in hand, and that will be game number 1.
Yep. So Eric does, unfortunately, lose the first game to Andrew, and Andrew takes it with the mid-range Draven. I mean, mid-range Draven showing how powerful it is. I don't think that should be anybody's surprise here. It is the most represented deck in the Top Cut for a reason.
Yeah. Almost like it's a good deck.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
I've heard this before. I don't know.
There are rumors. You don't know for sure.
Yeah, you know, I don't trust things that I hear secondhand.
Not unless it's from Twitter.
Of course. And then only the negative things.
Yes. Yeah. Especially when they're untrue. That's how you know they're true.
Yes. Especially when they're about me. All right, so game 2, I think we've mostly seen Eric. Eric is candlelit when he goes first.
Has to be, yeah, because he's only used the minefield. We've only ever seen him use the minefield because he keeps winning.
He keeps
So this is the first time it will be a best of 3 if he does manage to take game number 2 here. So we'll have to see if he finds a way back into this series. But Andrew playing the mid-range Draven very well, playing it very patiently, and still managed to hold on to that final battlefield, even though he kind of lost control of the game in that final set of turns there.
Yeah, it was looking a little bit spooky. Unfortunately, Andrew only had like 1 or 2 cards in hand, so if Eric was able to find maybe a 3rd battering ram or anything that represented a threat, like maybe the fight or flight, could have gone differently.
Yeah, I think if he had managed to find himself a his one of Fizz, things would have been a lot better for him there. But he didn't, unfortunately, so here we are. But yeah, I mean, I think him being able to rebuke the Darius plus the Ferris Forerunner would have been enough for him to actually win the game there.
It's a lot of purple power. It's really hard to play all these, right? Because you have to pay 2 for rebuke, 1 for Fizz, 2 for rebuke. He did 2 seals though, so that does help a little bit.
Yeah, he didn't draw those seals early enough though, unfortunately for him. So did end up costing him a lot of runes early on, and I feel like because of that final turn, he just didn't have quite enough in that gas really to finish out that game there for himself. So Andrew here going to be finishing up his mulligans, trying to decide what is actually the correct line.
I think he's still siding.
Yeah.
You know, people...
Well, Jinx is a very weird matchup because these Mega Death Rockets just be blowing up all your stuff.
That's true. That is true. You can play like hard bargains, I guess.
Yeah.
If you have them, that might not be too bad. All right, so it looks like Eric is ready
to rumble.
Yeah, I'm ready to rumble. I don't know. Is that something Jinx would say?
No, that's just something.
Oh,
That was a rumble joke. Because there's no rumble anywhere near the top cut, or in the tournament.
This is true.
Rather.
This is true. You know, I don't know how it keeps happening, but when I was casting the Chinese events, I kept getting the rumbles. I think I've casted like 4 rumbles, which is 4 too many.
So you are ready to rumble?
Absolutely not. Absolutely. I'm in the danger zone right now.
Okay. Oh man. All right. We're we're here.
It's
okay.
There. It's that time.
Yes, it is. Yeah. And by the way, it is dark because right now there are clouds coming over the sky, and then the clouds leave the sky, and then the lighting fixes itself. So it's just a where they're forced to set up issue. Nothing that they can fix.
Yeah. So generally, how the sky works is the sun is like up above us, and it gives us light. And when things go between,
Wait, you lost me.
Oh, okay.
What's
sorry.
sun?
Well, you know how the world is on like a giant tortoise?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, sometimes the tortoise like walks under one of the giant trees, and it blocks the sun, and then you can't see anything.
I thought sun was like, child.
Nah. Nah. All right, so Obelisk coming out for Draven. Wouldn't be surprised to see a early Draven, though that being said, a little bit dangerous when the Eric does play Death Rocket, right? You could just go, bam, Draven's dead. What if we lived on a llama? Thoughts?
Actually, the world is flat, and let me explain to you why.
Okay.
It doesn't have a bra.
It's true. That's true. You know how the Japanese have like an anime character for everything?
Mm-hmm.
There's like Earth-chan.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right. Yep. Nope. I've
Yeah.
been proven wrong. Earth is not flat.
Yeah. Okay, so the traveling merchant being pushed up onto handle it. Dang, he did draw a Nocturne, which does kind of stink. And let's see, do these go to the bottom? That is a bit unfortunate. It means no good cards were in the top two and no Nocturnes. Does
Yes. The lighting is really hurting my ability to cast right now, as I cannot see any of those cards that Eric has. But I mean, this is honestly a pretty great start here for Andrew. He's able to develop 2 units versus the 1, but you know, Eric is going to be able to use this Candlelit Sanctum, play that Jinx, as well as that Seal of Discord. So,
Yep, it is a good way there to go ahead and. So Eric's play of not playing the Draven, good way to play around the Rocket. So ends up playing 2 little guys, and instead no Rocket comes down. Instead, Eric choosing to develop the Jinx and even putting her on the battlefield, which I find a little bit surprising. But
for me, this seems like one of those scenarios where he's just trying to dissuade this traveling or treasure hunter from really building up its board per se. So you know, last game he was able to get 4 gold tokens, and then because of it, Andrew just had so many runes to work with throughout the entirety of that game. And what this tells to me right now is that he's got that switcheroo, and no, it's going to be a rebuke instead, but still equally as punishing. So now, I think if I'm him, I just take out that treasure hunter, don't allow it to move around anymore. Yes, you do get 1 gold, but I mean, really, the Tide Turner is not that big a deal to deal with.
feels pretty bad when you do get, like, you go for this early hold, and then your purple opponent just has one of the 15 cards that break any hold in the game with Fight or Flight or Rebuke or Spinning Axe or just a lot of good cards, and I guess that kind of is a good indicator of the meta where you just never see decks go for holds right now. I think the only deck that does sometimes is Aurelia, but Aurelia has all the counter spells. It has infinite might boosts. Makes it pretty scary to go into her, plus the deflect.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the decks that I think I'm a little bit surprised to see a lack of is actually Yasuo. I think Yasuo is still pretty well poised. He still gets to do all the miracle-y stuff that all the other purple decks get to do, but he also gets to utilize the Treasure Hunter better than any other deck. And then Aurelia obviously gets to utilize the Stellacorn Herder, I would argue, slightly better, but it does cost a lot of runes to do so. That said, that you play the Stellacorn Herder on turn 2, turn 3, you got to move it up, and then you got to move it right back. You got to draw 2 for 2, essentially.
Yeah, the main problem, and I spent a lot of time with Yasuo in set 2, is that you're just too slow if you're going for these plays. Just to give some context, right? So you play your treasure. So you go first, you go Treasure Hunter, you push up Treasure Hunter on turn 2, you pull it back because you don't want it to sit on a battlefield. You're playing in a Draven meta. It's going to die. It's going to give them gold, or give them draws, and you don't want to give them draws. So now that is, you've developed nothing, and you've gotten 2 treasure tokens, which is good, and you have 2 runes to work with on turn 2. So you could just play like another 2-drop. It still doesn't feel good, and the most successful way to play Yasuo in set 1 was like the 2-drop build where you play like, I forget, like 12 2-drops or something.
Right.
And you just go really hard, really early with the Yasuo leader. You go 2 points on your second turn. Awesome. But that works very poorly into the Draven deck. And you can choose to play like a Miracle style Yasuo. And at that point, you're like, well, why wouldn't you just play like a Miracle Aurelia then instead? Because Yasuo is more expensive. Like everything about Yasuo is more expensive, and the Miracle decks are okay with playing on low rune counts. So you can afford the Yasuo or the Aurelia leader ability more often. Whereas the Yasuo one you just can't because you're playing on low rune counts. That's my experience with it, and there might be like a super secret build out there from one of the top Yasuo players that's cooked up. I mean, Fizz copy Last Breath would be pretty cool, but I have not found it yet.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, Last Breath, I think, is a card that a lot of players don't even play around because I got to be honest, I don't even know what it does.
Yeah, it's expensive. It's like a. I hate to say this because it feels a bit simplified, but a bad Stormbringer, which is the volley card, in that it does damage to something on a battlefield, and then it moves your unit, and in this case, it doesn't directly move it; it readies it. But the problem here is it costs a lot. 2 power is a big investment.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Especially because it costs 3 energy as well.
Yeah, makes it very
So,
awkward. You have to play like Kane with it to make it worth it. And the Kane builds are. How do you play Kane when everyone has Rebuke in their deck?
it's simple. You don't.
I played 9 counter spells in my hand. That's how. And
Mm.
then they try and rebuke, and I say no. Jinx loading up onto the candlelit here. Eric took it from the minute 1 and has not let go. I mean, we got a. Well, he did, but
He did let it go for 1 turn, and then Andrew just kind of peeled back. And since then, Eric has really just trying to maintain his hold over it here. But that said, if Andrew just goes and takes the Obelisk of Power, he does end up winning the race. So it will be up to Eric to try and find his way to push Andrew off for a single turn. That said, right now there are just far too many units on Andrew's side of the board for that to really be the case. So Eric right now just trying to find a little bit of reprieve, trying to slow down the game state. He does have that Nocturne to gank over, so he can utilize that on the following turn. But yeah, I think right now Andrew's doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing, which is just playing this patient game and allowing really the mid-range to do what it does best, right? Which is just win the mid-game, overwhelm them, and use that to choke out your opponent in these later stages of the game. So Draven very likely going to come down. Looks like with a spinning axe as well. He does need to exhaust the runes. Yep, there we go.
was there a card? I missed it. We were talking. Okay, so I was going to say, was that the second card? In which case, the
Yes.
Darius triggers. Is that enough to get over? I want to say that is, because Draven will be at 9 if the ability is used.
17 on Eric's side of the field.
Yeah, so 6. Yeah, there is enough might if he does opt to go for it. That being said, Eric is holding runes, and something like a rebuke could be pretty awkward. That could be pretty awkward.
Yep. So I think Andrew's playing this properly here. Needs to utilize that rebuke on the following turn. Looks like that is going to be the case as well. I mean, he does ready and he just goes ahead and passes right now, recognizes that like, there's just no way to really overtake this battlefield right now. If there is a rebuke, I kind of lose the game. I lose probably the Draven and the spinning axe unless I, recycle again. But either way, he's losing that Darius. So now this Nocturne is just going to go ahead and gank over, give Eric that point lead that he very much needed here. And so, yeah, I mean, really just showcasing how this deck is supposed to work. And boom, that Jinx will finally come back down after being rebuked on that turn 3, I want to say. And so, yeah, I mean, Eric's feeling pretty comfortable about his position now. Andrew had to kind of almost, in a sense, overcommit just to be able to pressure Eric away. And now Andrew will just bring in that Darius, take over that Nocturne, be allowed to draw an additional card for the turn. And there's 2 Rossas in Eric Lu's hand, but no way to discard them as of yet.
Yeah, the discard is not actually super big yet, is it? I think, is it just 3 cards?
Just 3 cards.
No stacked decks, no called shots. A lot of units on the board.
Yeah.
Though there is
lot of
the
might.
Merchant. So Merchant can move on the next turn, hopefully find something. Because it feels pretty bad to have these Rossas that you can't really play.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how Eric is going to navigate this turn. I expect him to utilize the Traveling Merchant to just ready the Jinx. So we'll see if he decides to rebuke some way, shape, or form this Draven. And then, yeah, Andrew here just going to be forced to play on odd points, which is not something you want to see. He is going to be able to find off the top there that Fight or Flight or Falling Star. And I'm curious if he wants to keep either of them. I assume he does, because those seems like some really powerful effects, especially in the mid-range Draven list. And I think maybe the Falling Star isn't great right now just because everything is 4 might or above. But being able to pass here with all of these runes available, a very frightening place to be in if you're Eric Lou.
Nope, you said that.
I had to caster curse him.
Maybe like 4 runes, Kaisa developed. Yeah. Just putting some stuff in base, ready for next turn. And pulling the Darius back. So keeping Darius out of harm's way. Both players with infinite might on the board, but in the base. Saving them up for a big showdown in the end.
Yeah, I think right now, if all things continue, Eric Lou is in a very advantageous position to be able to win this game number 2 here. He will be able to Piercing Light off the top here and shoot down one of these Kaisas. So now he doesn't even really need to do anything too effective. I mean, he could just send in the Jinx for right now, overtake this Candlelit Sanctum, and then this Traveling Merchant will allow him to discard and draw an additional card. So
and ready the Jinx.
Yep, ready the Jinx, bring her right back to base.
Is that? Ooh, you drew an Ezreal. That's big.
It is a big draw, but he doesn't actually have anything to utilize it with right now. So instead, just gonna go ahead and use it anyways. Pitch away the Rasa, even though it is the bigger body. It will just be thrown away. So Noxus Hopeful, Seal of Discord, and I can't quite tell what that last card is off the top there.
Was it a third Ezreal or a second Ezreal? It might have been.
Might have been the second Ezreal. Nope. Wait.
Nope.
It was the Noxus Hopeful you picked
Oh,
up
wow.
and the Vi. Okay.
So big turn setting up for the final push on the next turn. He is at 6 points, so a double conquer will win the game.
So there is that Falling Star, and it is going to be able to finally get that value, actually, right off the top here, as both the Vi and the Ezra are going to get knocked out by this Falling Star. And Andrew might be able to claw his way back into this game. I mean, this Traveling Merchant will be able to get stripped away by either this Darius or this Kaisa. And now he will be able to draw 2 cards. Finds a Fight or Flight off that top with that Candlelit Sanctum and 1 other card.
Yeah, and the Falling Star is pretty high impact here because that Vi represents a lot of might. So being able to take it out and the Ezreal, which means it's pretty unlikely, but like a top-decked Falling Star, or sorry, top-decked Cold Shot will now be at least a little bit more impactful. That being said, I don't think Eric really has too much to do, right? Only 1 card in hand.
Yeah, Eric will be able to draw an additional card off that Jinx, though.
It's true. Is it before? It happens before you draw for turn?
Yes.
Okay. So it does get a draw too. That's not too bad. Is that the first time this game that it has triggered? I think it is.
Yeah, it usually only triggers once per game, sometimes twice, but very seldomly will it trigger twice. So, I mean, it's you draw on average less than you do with Draven, but it is less reliant than the Draven for its draw. So this Draven will go into the battlefield. He is going to look at the top 2. Does find a Spinning Axe off the top, so might just be able to utilize that. Doesn't have a way to draw as of yet, but if he does win one of these combats, that will be in his hand. So deciding to send 1 to the bottom, put the other one back on top, and very likely will just try and hold one of these 2 battlefields.
Yep, would not be super surprised. I mean, this is the second last turn of the game. Anything that happens after this, again, unless Eric is able to clear both battlefields without also taking one, which could happen, just like crashing, trading. Not the most likely thing, but most likely. Okay, yeah, and has oh wow, Treasure Hunter for 1 might. Okay, that is 1 might. Can't complain.
So that leads me to believe that he has something like a switcheroo, and that is going to be, something that Eric Lou does have to worry about here.
Yeah.
And the fact that he is hiding a card as well, makes that all the more believable. I mean, we do know that he did draw into a Fight or Flight, so it's very likely the Fight or Flight instead. But playing that Treasure Hunter there does make you wonder.
It represents the threat, right? So at that point, it gives Eric opportunities to misplay. Ooh, there we go. There's the rocket. Got a hard bargain.
We did see him discard a hard bargain. I don't know if it was last game or this one.
Could be an axe as well. Save him. I really do like the pace of play from Eric. He knows what he's going to do, and he does it.
Yep. So we do see a rebuke on Andrew's side of the field.
All right, rebuking on the Draven here. This is nice because then you can, if you are scared of the potential switcheroo, you can just go shove up a hopeful. And if they switcheroo, you can just shove up another hopeful. It's very easy. You could even just shove up double hopeful, and then that actually stops the draw too. So maybe a bit better that way.
Absolutely. And I think this is actually really, really smart too for that, it lets you just send in your hopeful. If it's a hidden fight or flight, then he's going to get pushed. The hopeful will have to be pushed back anyways. So if it is that switcheroo, you can just send in your battering ram to overtake it after the fact. And then, if there is a rebuke, well, I mean, you only lost a hopeful. So this is really good patient play here from Eric. And I think Andrew right now kind of feels a little bit forced to use this hard bargain if he does have it. And we have to assume that it is there. Otherwise, I just don't see any reason why he'd be thinking this hard. And, well, there it is at the top of his hand right next to his thumb.
Yep. Though Eric does have runes up. The thing to be thinking about, though, is Eric doesn't actually have a lot of cards in hand, so he might be just totally okay with this. He might also, he will get the rocket back, most likely. So that is something that you will also be able to hard bargain later in the turn, is if Eric does make a play, assuming that he's going to get a second use out of the rocket, and then you can just go, okay, hard bargain on the rocket, and that will just be a full negate, right, as he only has 5 cards left, or 5 runes left.
So now Eric deciding as everything gets incredibly dark.
Again.
This is dark times for Andrew.
Yes, it's representing the feelings in Andrew's heart, but I don't know. I think I'm sitting pretty if I'm Andrew right now. I think I'm fine.
Yeah, I mean, this is actually really heads-up play here from Eric Liu. It plays around both Rebuke and Fight or Flight.
Oh, there you go. So there was one.
There's the Fight or Flight. And, yep, he will be able to look at the top 2 and then get discard as well as...
Yep, so the Death Rocket trigger now. Getting that card back. Discarding a Bushwhack. Okay. And this is where the hard bargain's going to come down. Yep, there's the hard bargain. So, I mean, it's pretty straightforward, right? You just shove him up, and if he's got it, he's got it. If he doesn't, he doesn't. Not
Absolutely.
really many options
so
here.
he has to have exactly Spitting Axe plus Rebuke, but we do know that he does not have it because that last card in hand is the Draven.
All right. And Eric does take game 2, so we do get a game 3. Is this Eric's first game 3 on stream?
I think so, yeah. Everything else is 2-0'd.
I mean, the Death Rocket, that card is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, the Super Mega Death Rocket has been putting in a lot of work. Also, Regalia, I'm pretty sure it's a much bigger flex to have the Best of Jinx on board than it is to have the Arcane Jinx.
Nah. I won a lottery. Actually, was the Arcane Box a lottery, or was that one just a straight pre-order where the website crashed?
No idea. Probably both.
Okay.
Because, like, where the website crashes, that's because at that point it is a lottery.
Fair enough, fair enough. Did you get any of the lottery?
No.
You did not? None of them? Zero?
None of them.
Nada?
Nada,
None.
dang thing.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I got 2. I got the lottery for the Spirit Forge box, and which is still sitting on my shelf since I got it like a month and a half ago. A month ago, probably. 3 weeks ago, probably.
The Vegas?
No. The box. The Spirit Forge box. There was a lottery for that as well. If you could buy one.
You talking about the Aurelia one?
No. So
Like, you're talking
literally
about
a box of Spirit Forge.
Okay.
Through the Riot website.
Okay.
And then also I did get the lottery for the Aurelia, but that hasn't been sent. Who knows when that'll be sent? So missed Vegas, missed Bologna. Tried for both. Sad.
Yeah.
At least I got Leo.
Yeah.
You
at least did get Leo. That's something that I wish I got. Wait, what? Ah. Here. Hold on, chat, where I'm doing something important.
He's trying to type right now. It's very impressive.
Trying to type right now. It's very impressive. You know what? That was low key a lot of shade.
This is the power of a man who knows his llamas.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't get that everywhere.
Rocket should still cost 3. I'll die on that hill. You know, honestly, I don't know that that's a hill you want to die on. He is one of the best of Jinx winners, so he has a lot of merit in his comment. But here's my counter argument: no.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be dying on any hills. To be honest, I will be dying in a blaze of glory. Yeah, I'll be like isekai'd into some fantasy land, and then I'm gonna be there's gonna be some. I need a hero going on in the background, and then it's me versus like 50 orcs, and I'm gonna die. But it was cool.
That is cool.
They maybe made like a movie about me or something. Anyways, looks like Eric is going second here. He does play the minefield. Does find the double seals Ezreal. Okay, I mean that's a lot of cards.
An explosive start.
Hopefully he is able to find a called shot here, because that will make the following turn quite insane.
Yeah, I mean, Andrew does have to have the falling star right now, but that does put him back on 2 runes, and it's really just a deal with 1 unit. So just going to go ahead and send himself onto that Targon's Peak. Pretty much just allow this Ezreal to do what it wants to do, and he's going to put that Draven into that back line. And I like this a lot here, because now, even if he does manage to kill this treasure hunter, he is going to be trading his Ezreal for it. I see. My bad. I missed. Okay.
Why does Eric have so many different runes? Does he have like base runes as well?
No idea.
This makes me irrationally angry when I see this. I saw someone who is using, it was the base runes, so like the very basic ones. They were using the Spirit Forge Nexus Knight, the Origins Nexus Knight, and the Alt Art ones. And I'm like, you cannot do this. This should not be allowed. No, it's more than 6, because we know Andrew's playing multiple Draven in his deck.
I think he meant Draven.
He says
players.
copies of Draven.
All right, you know what?
There are 6 Draven players, so in the top cut. We know Andrew's on multiple Dravens, so that
I was close.
See? No. You said the word copies. You cannot take it back.
Yeah, it was typed into chat. It's only we have the power to delete it.
Exactly, and I will not be deleting that. That will be.
That's a hill he's going to die on.
Yeah, or maybe a valley.
A valley, yeah, because he said no hills. That was the hill that he was going to die on. Was that he was going to die on no hills?
I was going to die on the llama's back, to be honest. What if we had, how there's like horse armor?
Uh-huh.
What if we had llama armor? Take like a llama into battle?
Lamar?
What if we sold it as DLC?
Downloadable content?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like only you can save your llama in the middle of a war. Okay, so so Treasure Hunter is on 2 gold tokens. Can we beat 4? 4 was the last game.
Yeah, that was in 1 turn though.
That was a crazy turn. Purple is so good.
Yes,
Purple is so good.
So now this Draven is going to go ahead and do the swippity swappities.
Yep, keeping Draven safe. I mean, he is our boy. He has the fancy Draven too. I don't know what the name of that skin is.
It's like $3 now.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's really cheap.
In general, those alt art like champion units that don't have the fancy overnumber thing, they're not very expensive, which is kind of cool. I think the most expensive one was like the alt art Darius for a while. It was like $30 or something, but that's because the base Darius was like 20 something.
Yeah, for like 2 days or something.
No, it was like the first month because Kaisa was best deck and everyone was dooming about Kaisa.
This is true. All right, so
Ooh.
Piercing Light here is going to get fired off. Was considering using it twice just to deal with this Draven, but instead going to go ahead and take out both the Treasure Hunter and the Tide Turner. Yeah, Tide Turner.
Yeah.
And so now only 2 gold tokens going to be valued off of this Tide Turner, which is probably the best case scenario he could have asked for. Yeah, I mean, Eric is still at 0 points, and Andrew's just racking up these points as these turns continue. So now Treasure Hunter going to come down, going to discard a sneaky deckhand. And I think Eric Liu is just going to go ahead and get that second point while he has that opportunity. So at least next turn, he's very likely to be on 3 points and will be able to ready 2 runes. So does threaten potential rebuke or something else, but we do know that that was off the top. So Andrew doesn't have to worry about something like a fight or flight too seriously, although that is probably in the back of his mind.
I'm kind of surprised that he did kill the Treasure Hunter over the Draven because he does have an Ezreal on the board. Well, he tapped out, right? So I guess he couldn't. He did end up using all of his energy, so did not have any extra energy to repeat the Piercing Light and not pay the power costs. So you would have had to pay the power costs and not pay the energy costs, which feels bad, deramping. So opting to save some resources for the next few turns. Here comes the Draven, paying the Draven extra cost to gain 2 might, get a gold token and a draw. That unit is so efficient. It's quite crazy.
Yeah, and it is going to strip away one of those Kaisas, so that is some good news here for Eric.
Ooh, Toop doesn't know about the llama.
He doesn't know about the llama drama?
Yeah, he ain't gonna find out either.
Nope.
That is for me to know and you to wish you knew.
That is calamitous.
That is quite
Calamitous.
Calamitous.
Yes.
Accelerated Kaisa coming out. Looks like Andrew will be drawing 3 cards this turn. Yes, refilling that hand. I see a hard bargain, and I saw absolutely nothing else.
So just moving up the 2 runes that he wants to ready at the end of his turn, and Andrew just deciding if there's anything else he wants to do with these 3 runes available. We'll decide to fire off a stacked deck first just to see if he can find something like a Falling Star. He does manage to find it, so we'll have to see if he fires it off here, but it really is only going to be able to take out this Ezreal as, well, he was able to get rid of everything else, so.
I mean, I wouldn't hate doing that, to be honest. Eric is pretty far behind in everything, and it requires a miracle turn to come back from. And if you do kill the Ezreal, the miracle turn's harder to get to.
Absolutely.
So let's see what Andrew opts to do here. Thinking.
Yeah. I will say this is, I think, the first time this series that Draven has drawn more than 1 card in a single game before the end of the game.
I think he drew 2. Did he not?
I think it was the final turn where he drew an additional card. Is what I'm getting at.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I'll take your word for it. And here, oh, okay, so killing the battering ram.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. I mean, also a good opportunity here to clean up the board state a little bit. What can Eric piece together on this ever so important turn here? This is going to decide a lot because if Andrew is able to hold on to at least one of these battlefields, he'll go up to 6, can pull everything back and set up for a big push onto 8.
Yep. So 2 runes going to be exhausted.
Bushwhack.
Have to assume it's the Bushwhack here. Ooh. We do see a Rasa in hand.
Oh,
no, it's a Vi. So just going to set up for that final turn. We'll be able to draw an additional card off this Jinx, so that second card will be picked up by this Jinx on this following turn. So Andrew will be at 7 points, but he's got a full grip of cards, and he will be able to ready his runes fully, which means that Eric is in a heap of trouble. If there is something like a second Falling Star, this Ezreal and this Vi are going to go away as well, which means that this game will be pretty much fully wrapped up if that is the case. So the fact that this Falling Star has left Andrew's hand, I felt like Eric gave Eric a little bit of reprievance and safety to feel like he could play that Vi then and there. So now Andrew has to decide if he has some sort of answers to what's going on.
I mean, what's pretty scary here for me is, let's say Andrew does double retreat, which I imagine you would. Well, it's a little, maybe you don't, because you don't want Eric to be able to load all of his might on one battlefield. You want to say you have to split it up, and then it gets easier to crack. But that Kaisa, if it conquers, it's going to draw 3 cards on the next turn if you do pull back. But looks like he's not going. Oh. That, okay.
No, I like this a lot, actually. See, the reason for him doing this here is it's just to force Eric to have to go onto these battlefields, but also, if he is going to go onto the battlefield, he can just sack one of the guys if it's a unit that he doesn't want there, which will force Eric to commit even further. So, not a bad line here. I mean, I think there are better uses of the Overzealous fans overall. But I think right now with what Andrew has in hand, he feels fairly confident that he will be able to take it on that following turn. So just taking out the lines that really force Eric to split up his battlefield as much as possible. And yeah, I mean, not a bad place to be. He will be able to draw an additional card off this Jinx. Does find that Super Mega Death Rocket that I think he's been looking for this entire game. And will be able to conquer one of these battlefields and get rid of, very likely, at least one of these units. We do know that he is on that hard bargain in hand. So, yeah, I mean, we'll have to see how Eric decides to navigate this turn, because that hard bargain really will prove to be a bit of a hindrance.
Yeah, it would have been really nice for Eric if he had found another piercing light. I don't know how many he plays, but I mean, only being able to deal with these fans and not the backline as well makes it a little bit spooky, especially knowing Andrew plays Darius. Oh, you would have loved to draw those cards. Unfortunate.
Yep. I think call shot would have been exactly what that doctor ordered, but unfortunately for him, doesn't find it, but does have access to that Super Mega Death Rocket, so we'll fire it off here.
I am a little bit surprised at the sequencing, right?
No, I think this way he's playing around the hard bargain. He knows he's not going to be able to fire it off the second time, so just trying to play around it as best as possible. And then this way he can potentially hold on for one more turn, because he does still need to deal with this overzealous fan, but that Vi won't be able to take it. So with that, Rasa.
Well, my thought is it's almost guaranteed Andrew's going to give up one of these, so you go for the Mega Death Rock. This all being said, Eric knows his deck infinitely better than me. He is the best Jinx player probably in the world right now. But my initial thought is you're going to go Death Rocket onto a backline, then shove up, and then you just get to add it back, right? But, all right, so going with the Vi, and does pull it back, and now push up the Rasa. So Eric did choose to tap out for that, and now is opting if he would like to add back the rocket, and I guess he cannot. He has no cards in hand, does he? Can you add it back?
He has one card in hand.
Does he?
Yeah, he's got a Rebuke, which I think he'd much rather hold on to here.
Okay.
So.
Oh, absolutely. If he has a Rebuke, that could be the saving grace here, if he does have a Rebuke.
So he's going to go ahead and send in this Draven. And now Eric has to decide whether or not he wants to keep that Ezreal alive. Looks like that's not going to be the case. Why did he draw 2? Oh, right, because he's at 7 points.
Yes.
Okay. And then he does have that Falling Star. So that Falling Star might actually be the death knell here. Being able to get rid of this Vi might just be good enough. He's going to go ahead and use that Ride the Wind.
Yeah, I think the Ride the Wind is the scarier card, because now you cannot... No longer can you deal with... Oh, this was a really weird way to play this. Oh, it doesn't matter.
GG's.
Right.
So very well played here from Eric, but just not enough to be able to deal with everything that Andrew had going on, especially in game number 3. Kind of a bit of a slow start. Didn't find any stacked decks or called shots in game number 3. So yeah, because of it, it feels like Eric just did not have what was needed to be able to finish that game. And unfortunately for him, he did hit the one call shot he would have drawn because of that minefield.
Yeah, it is pretty unfortunate. I was talking with Eric a little bit on before this round, and we were talking about the differences between the Draven Miracle and the Jinx Miracle deck, and he said one of the, and I'm going to apologize to Eric if he watches this back and I'm totally butchering what he said, but I believe what he said is that the Jinx deck, Miracle deck, actually has a better matchup into some of these control decks because of you have the Mega Death Rocket, it can pick off the back line, but a little bit worse of a Draven matchup. So, though I will say, Draven into Draven, that should be a 50% matchup, you'd hope. But unfortunately, Jinx is not Draven, so a little bit worse than that.
Yeah, a little bit worse wear, and